The vast expanse of the galaxy was home to countless alien civilizations, each with their own advanced technologies and sprawling empires. From the towering crystalline spires of the Psyloth homeworld to the endless subterranean cities of the Grulnak, these alien species had long since mastered the secrets of interstellar travel and weaponry. Yet, among this tapestry of galactic powers, there existed one race that had long been viewed as little more than a curiosity: the humans of the small blue planet called Earth. With their primitive-looking ships and limited expansion into the stars, the humans were often dismissed as a backward, insignificant species, unworthy of the attention of the mighty alien empires. It was this sentiment that had prompted a group of alien observers to be dispatched to the human homeworld, tasked with monitoring the activities of this seemingly harmless race. Led by the stoic commander Psyloth, the observational fleet arrived in orbit around Earth, their advanced cloaking technology rendering them invisible to the unsuspecting humans below. "Look at them," Psyloth scoffed, peering down at the blue and green planet through the viewscreen. "Their ships are little more than tin cans, barely capable of venturing beyond their own moon. How could such a primitive civilization pose any threat to our great empires?" The other observers murmured in agreement, their arrogance and condescension towards the humans palpable. They watched as the human vessels moved about, engaging in routine patrols and training exercises, seemingly unaware of the alien presence observing them. However, one member of the observational team, a younger and more curious individual named Zereth, could not help but notice certain subtle details that the others had overlooked. As the human ships maneuvered through the void of space, Zerath detected elements of their design and propulsion systems that seemed oddly advanced for a primitive civilization. "Commander, I believe we may have underestimated the capabilities of these humans," Zerath said, his brow furrowed in concentration as he studied the sensor readings. Psyloth scoffed. "Underestimated? Zerath, you can't be serious. Those pathetic excuses for ships pose no threat to us. They're little more than playthings, fit only for our amusement." The other observers nodded in agreement, their dismissive attitudes towards the humans firmly entrenched. Zerath, however, was not convinced. As the days passed, he continued to observe the human fleet, noting with growing unease the subtle complexities and hidden strengths of their vessels. One day, as the human ships conducted a live-fire exercise, Zereth's eyes widened in surprise. The speed, maneuverability, and firepower displayed by the human vessels far exceeded anything he had expected, and he could not help but wonder if the other observers were truly aware of the true nature of this insignificant race. Determined to uncover the truth, Zereth approached Psyloth, his voice laced with a sense of urgency. "Commander, I must insist that we reevaluate our assessment of the human fleet. I believe there is more to them than meets the eye." Psyloth's expression hardened, his annoyance evident. "Zerath, I've heard enough of your nonsense. The humans are nothing more than a curiosity, a backwater species unworthy of our attention. Now, I suggest you focus on your duties and leave the important decisions to those of us with true wisdom and experience." Zerath opened his mouth to protest, but the finality in Psyloth's tone made it clear that further discussion would be futile. Resigned, the younger observer returned to his station, his mind racing with questions and concerns about the true nature of the human race. As the observational fleet continued its surveillance, Zereth could not shake the growing sense of unease that had taken root within him. The humans, once dismissed as harmless, were beginning to reveal themselves as something far more complex and potentially far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. As the days turned into weeks, the alien observational fleet continued its surveillance of the human fleet, with the majority of the observers still dismissing the humans as nothing more than a harmless curiosity. However, Zerath, the young and curious member of the team, could not shake the nagging feeling that there was more to the human ships than met the eye. While the others were content to simply observe from a distance, Zereth began to take a closer, more detailed look at the human vessels. As he pored over the sensor data and analyzed the movements of the human fleet, Zereth started to notice subtle details that the others had overlooked. The propulsion systems, for example, seemed to be far more advanced than what would be expected from a primitive civilization. The human ships were able to maneuver and change direction with a level of agility that was surprisingly impressive. "There's no way these ships should be able to move like that," Zereth muttered to himself, his brow furrowed in concentration. The power outputs, the response times, the level of control, it's all far beyond what we've seen from other species at this stage of development. Intrigued, Zereth began to delve deeper, conducting more in-depth scans and tests on the human vessels. As he did so, his initial suspicions were only further confirmed. The human ships possessed advanced shielding, powerful weapon systems, and a level of technological sophistication that belied their outward appearance. Zereth's growing excitement was tempered by a sense of unease. If the humans were indeed this advanced, then why had they not made their presence known to the larger galactic community? Why were they content to remain in their isolated corner of the galaxy, seemingly uninterested in expansion or conquest? Determined to uncover the truth, Zereth approached the leader of the observational fleet, Commander Xyloth, with his findings. "Commander, I've been studying the human ships in greater detail, and I believe we may have severely underestimated them," Zereth said, his tone urgent. Xyloth regarded the younger observer with a dismissive snort. "Underestimated them? Zereth, you can't be serious. Those pathetic excuses for ships are no threat to us. They're barely capable of leaving their own planet, let alone posing any kind of challenge to our mighty empires." "But, Commander, the evidence suggests otherwise," Zereth pressed on, undeterred. "The human vessels possess capabilities that far exceed what we would expect from a civilization at their level of development. Their technology, their weapons, their ability to maneuver, it's all far more advanced than we've given them credit for." The other observers in the room murmured in agreement with Xyloth, their disdain for the humans evident on their faces. Zereth could feel the weight of their skepticism bearing down on him, but he refused to back down. "I'm telling you, we need to take a closer look at the humans. They may be hiding something that could have serious implications for the entire galactic community." Xyloth's expression darkened, his patience wearing thin. "Zereth, I've heard enough of your wild theories. The humans are nothing more than a curiosity, a harmless backwater species that poses no threat to us. Now, I suggest you focus on your duties and leave the important decisions to those of us with true wisdom and experience." With that, Xyloth turned away, effectively dismissing Zereth's concerns. The younger observer watched, his frustration mounting, as the commander returned to his post, the other observers following suit. Zereth knew that convincing the others would not be easy, but he was determined to uncover the truth about the humans, no matter the cost. The nagging suspicion that they had severely underestimated this small, isolated race would not let him rest. As the observational fleet continued its surveillance, Zereth steeled himself for the challenges ahead. He had a feeling that the humans were about to reveal themselves in a way that would shake the very foundations of the galactic community. Zereth's persistent attempts to convince Commander Xyloth and the other observers of the true nature of the human fleet had fallen on deaf ears. The older, more experienced members of the observational team remained steadfast in their dismissal of the humans, unwilling to even consider the possibility that they had underestimated the small, isolated race. As the days turned into weeks, Zereth grew increasingly frustrated. He knew that the evidence he had gathered was compelling, yet his superiors refused to take his findings seriously. The young observer could not understand how they could be so blind to the clear signs of advanced technology and capabilities displayed by the human ships. Finally, Zereth decided to take a more direct approach. Gathering his evidence, he approached Xyloth once again, his tone resolute. "Commander, I must insist that we reconsider our stance on the humans. I've conducted extensive scans and analyses, and the data clearly shows that their ships possess far more advanced capabilities than we've given them credit for." Siloth's expression darkened, his annoyance evident. Zerath, I've told you before, the humans are of no consequence to us. Their so-called advanced technology is nothing more than a parlor trick, a pathetic attempt to seem more important than they truly are. The other observers in the room murmured in agreement, their disdain for the humans palpable. Zerath, undeterred, pressed on. But, Commander, I believe we have a responsibility to the larger galactic community to investigate this further. What if the humans are hiding something that could pose a threat to us all? Xyloth's eyes narrowed, and for a moment, Zerath thought he might have finally gotten through to the stubborn commander. However, the older alien's next words dashed any such hopes. Zerath, you are becoming a nuisance. The humans are of no concern to us, and I will not waste the resources of this fleet chasing your wild theories. Now, I'm ordering you to focus on your duties and leave the important decisions to those of us who understand the true nature of the galaxy. Zerath opened his mouth to protest, but the finality in Siloth's tone made it clear that further discussion would be futile. Resigned, the younger observer returned to his station, his mind racing with a mixture of frustration and determination. If the others refused to take action, then Zerath would have to find another way to uncover the truth about the humans. He knew that he could not simply let this matter rest, not when the potential implications were so grave. Steeling his resolve, Zerath began to formulate a plan. He would arrange a direct meeting with the human leadership, bypassing the dismissive attitudes of his superiors. It was a risky move, but Zerath was convinced that it was the only way to get to the bottom of this mystery. Approaching Xyloth once more, Zerath presented his proposal, his voice steadied despite the weight of the request. Commander, I believe the time has come for us to directly engage with the human leadership. I request permission to arrange a meeting so that we can better understand their intentions and the true nature of their technological capabilities. Siloth regarded Zerath with a mix of exasperation and reluctant curiosity. The younger observer's persistence had clearly piqued the commander's interest, even if he was still skeptical of the underlying premise. After a long moment of silence, Siloth let out a heavy sigh. Very well, Zerath. You may arrange this meeting, but I warn you, if this turns out to be another one of your wild goose chases, there will be consequences. Zerath nodded, a glimmer of hope in his eyes. I understand, Commander. I give you my word that I will not waste the fleet's time. This is too important to ignore any longer. With that, Zerath set to work, determined to bring the truth about the humans to light, no matter the cost. With great trepidation, Zerath set about arranging the meeting with the human leadership. He knew that this was a risky move, one that could have far-reaching consequences, but he was convinced that it was the only way to uncover the truth about the mysterious human race. As the alien delegation, led by the still skeptical Commander Xyloth, arrived at the designated human military outpost, they were met with a surprising lack of fanfare. The human soldiers greeted them politely, but there was a noticeable absence of the wariness and hostility that the aliens had expected. Where are the armed guards, the defensive perimeter? Siloth muttered under his breath, his eyes scanning the area. They should be trembling in fear at our presence. Zerath, however, couldn't help but notice that the humans seemed utterly unaware of the alien observers' previous presence in their system. Their calm and confident demeanor suggested a level of security and self-assurance that further piqued the young observer's curiosity. As the delegation was ushered into a meeting room, the human leaders, a group of seasoned military officers and diplomats, greeted them with a warm, yet measured welcome. Greetings, esteemed guests, said the lead human, a tall, gray-haired man with piercing eyes. We are honored by your visit and look forward to learning more about your civilization. Xyloth, caught off guard by the human's composure, cleared his throat before responding. We are representatives of the Galactic Council, and we have come to discuss matters of great importance concerning your fleet. The human leader's eyebrows raised slightly, but his expression remained calm. Yes, our fleet. Please, feel free to share your concerns. We are always open to dialogue and cooperation with our galactic neighbors. Zureth watched in fascination as the humans listened intently, offering no resistance or defensiveness as the alien delegation, led by the increasingly flustered Xyloth, presented their findings and accusations. Your ships possess capabilities that far exceed what we would expect from a civilization at your level of development, Xyloth said, his tone accusatory. We demand to know the true nature of your technological advancements and your intentions towards the rest of the galaxy. The human leader regarded Xyloth with a thoughtful expression, seemingly unfazed by the demands. Interesting, indeed. And what if we were to offer a demonstration of our fleet's true capabilities? Would that help allay your concerns? Xyloth blinked, momentarily taken aback by the unexpected offer. Zirath, on the other hand, leaned forward, his curiosity piqued. A demonstration? The commander asked, his voice laced with skepticism. And what do you hope to achieve by this? The human leader smiled, a hint of amusement in his eyes. Simply to provide you with a better understanding of our capabilities, and to hopefully open the door to further cooperation and dialogue between our civilizations. Xyloth hesitated, clearly unsure of how to proceed. Zirath, sensing an opportunity, spoke up. Commander, I believe this demonstration could be a valuable opportunity to truly assess the humans' technological prowess. Perhaps it is time we set aside our preconceptions and approach this with an open mind. Xyloth shot Zirath a withering glare, but the younger observer refused to back down. After a long moment of tense silence, the commander let out a resigned sigh. Very well. We will accept your invitation for a demonstration. But I warn you, humans, any attempt to deceive or undermine us will have grave consequences. The human leader nodded, a small smile playing on his lips. Understood. We look forward to the opportunity to showcase our capabilities. Please, follow me. As the delegation followed the humans out of the meeting room, Zirath couldn't help but feel a growing sense of anticipation. Whatever was about to unfold, he knew it would be a pivotal moment in the relationship between the humans and the larger galactic community. The alien delegation, led by the wary commander Xyloth and the increasingly intrigued Zirath, arrived at the designated location to witness the demonstration of the human fleet's capabilities. The atmosphere was tense, as the aliens were uncertain of what to expect, their preconceptions about the humans' technological inferiority still firmly in place. As the human ships began to assemble, the observers from the alien fleet watched with a mix of curiosity and skepticism. At first, the vessels seemed to move with the same slow, clumsy motions that the aliens had come to associate with the human military. However, as the demonstration progressed, the tide began to turn. The human ships suddenly shifted into a higher gear, maneuvering with a speed and agility that defied the aliens' expectations. They darted and weaved through the void, executing complex maneuvers and formations with a level of coordination and precision that left the observers stunned. Zirath leaned forward, his eyes widening in awe as he studied the sensor readings. Impossible, he breathed, his voice barely above a whisper. Their power output, their reaction times, their level of control. It's all far beyond what we've seen from any other species at this stage of development. Xyloth, his face an unreadable mask, remained silent, his gaze fixed on the display before him. The other members of the delegation were similarly transfixed, their earlier dismissiveness and condescension slowly giving way to a growing sense of unease. As the demonstration continued, the human vessels began to unleash the full might of their arsenal. Powerful energy beams lanced out, targeting and destroying simulated enemy ships with devastating accuracy. The sheer destructive power on display left the alien observers reeling, their previous assumptions about the humans' military capabilities completely shattered. Zirath, his excitement tempered by a sense of foreboding, watched the unfolding scene with a mixture of awe and trepidation. "This goes far beyond anything we could have imagined," he murmured, his voice low and thoughtful. The humans have kept their true strength hidden from the rest of the galaxy. Xyloth, his composure finally cracking, turned to Zirath, his expression a mix of shock and growing alarm. "You were right, Zirath," he admitted, his words laced with a rare hint of vulnerability. "We have severely underestimated the humans and their capabilities." The other observers nodded in agreement, their faces reflecting a similar sense of unease and uncertainty. The once dismissive attitudes towards the human race had been replaced by a deep-seated concern, as the realization dawned that this isolated, primitive civilization was, in fact, a formidable force to be reckoned with. As the demonstration drew to a close, the human leaders approached the alien delegation, their expressions calm and confident. "I trust this has provided you with a better understanding of our military's true capabilities," the lead human said, his gaze sweeping across the group. "We hope this will serve as the foundation for future cooperation and dialogue between our civilizations." Xyloth, momentarily at a loss for words, simply nodded, his mind racing with the implications of what they had just witnessed. Zirath, on the other hand, stepped forward, his curiosity burning brighter than ever. "Indeed, this demonstration has been most enlightening. We clearly have much to learn about your people and your technology. I, for one, am eager to engage in further discussions and to explore the possibilities for mutual understanding and collaboration." The human leader regarded Zirath with a thoughtful expression, a faint smile playing on his lips. "I'm pleased to hear that, young observer. We look forward to the opportunity to share more about ourselves and to learn from you as well." As the alien delegation turned to depart, a heavy silence hung in the air. The once dismissive attitudes had been shattered, replaced by a profound sense of unease and a growing realization that the humans were far more than the insignificant backwater civilization they had assumed. The future, it seemed, was about to take an unexpected turn. The alien delegation, their once dismissive attitudes shattered, returned to their homeworld with a report that would send shockwaves through the entire galactic community. The discovery of the human fleet's true capabilities had left the observers deeply unsettled, their previous assumptions about the insignificance of the human race now firmly dispelled. As Xyloth and his team presented their findings to the Galactic Council, the reaction was one of stunned silence. The leaders of the various alien empires, accustomed to viewing the humans as a harmless backwater civilization, were now forced to confront the reality that this small, isolated race possessed a level of technological prowess that rivaled, or even surpassed their own. "Impossible," one of the council members, a towering Grulnak representative, growled. "These humans cannot be allowed to possess such advanced capabilities. They pose a threat to the stability of the entire galaxy." The other council members murmured in agreement, their expressions a mix of alarm and growing unease. Xyloth, his own confidence shaken, struggled to maintain his composure as he relayed the details of the demonstration. The human ships displayed levels of maneuverability, firepower, and shielding that we have never encountered before, the commander said, his voice tinged with a rare hint of uncertainty. "They have clearly been hiding the true extent of their technological advancements from the rest of the galactic community." Zirath, the young observer who had been the first to raise concerns about the humans, stepped forward, his gaze resolute. "We must act swiftly to understand the full scope of the human threat," he said, his voice carrying a sense of urgency. "They may be planning to expand their influence or even attempt to dominate the galaxy. We cannot afford to underestimate them again." The council members exchanged uneasy glances, the weight of Zirath's words hanging in the air. For years, they had dismissed the humans as a harmless curiosity, a primitive race unworthy of their attention. But now, confronted with the reality of the human fleet's advanced capabilities, they were forced to confront the possibility that they had gravely misjudged the situation. "What do you propose we do, then?" Another council member, a Xyloth representative, asked, her tone laced with a hint of trepidation. Zirath paused, his brow furrowed in concentration. "We must gather as much intelligence as possible about the humans and their true intentions. We need to understand the full extent of their technological capabilities, their military strength, and their plans for the future. Tyloth nodded, his initial skepticism giving way to a growing sense of urgency. Agreed. We must act quickly and decisively to protect the stability of the galaxy. The humans cannot be allowed to threaten our way of life. The council members, their once dismissive attitudes now replaced by a palpable sense of concern, began to debate the best course of action. Some advocated for a diplomatic approach, arguing that open communication and cooperation could be the key to avoiding conflict. Others, however, called for a more aggressive stance, demanding that the humans be neutralized before they could pose a true threat. As the discussions raged on, it became clear that the once insignificant human race had become a source of profound unease and uncertainty for the entire galactic community. The implications of their advanced capabilities were far-reaching, and the various alien empires struggled to determine the best way to address this unexpected challenge. One thing was certain: the galaxy would never be the same again. The news of the human fleet's advanced capabilities had sent shockwaves through the entire galactic community, prompting the convening of a major summit among the most influential alien empires. The air was thick with tension as the representatives gathered, their once dismissive attitudes towards the humans now replaced by a profound sense of unease and uncertainty. At the center of the debate were two distinct factions: those who advocated for a diplomatic approach, and those who demanded a decisive show of force against the human race. "We cannot simply ignore this threat," argued the Grolnak representative, his deep, rumbling voice echoing through the chamber. "These humans have clearly been hiding their true strength. Who's to say they won't use it to subjugate the rest of the galaxy?" The Tyloth representative, known for her cautious and measured approach, stepped forward, her expression grave. "We must consider the consequences of any hasty action. The diplomatic solution may be the best path forward, one that allows us to understand the humans' intentions and establish a mutually beneficial relationship." The debate raged on, with each side presenting their arguments with increasing fervor. The more aggressive factions demanded that the human fleet be neutralized before it could pose a threat, while the proponents of diplomacy argued that open communication and cooperation were the keys to avoiding a catastrophic conflict. Zerath, the young observer who had first raised concerns about the humans, watched the proceedings with a mix of trepidation and growing determination. He knew that the fate of the entire galactic community hung in the balance, and he was convinced that a diplomatic approach was the only way to uncover the truth about the human race and their intentions. As the summit appeared to be on the verge of collapse, Zerath stepped forward, his voice cutting through the din. "Honored representatives, I believe we are overlooking a crucial aspect of this situation. The humans have demonstrated a level of technological advancement that far exceeds our expectations, but that does not necessarily mean they intend us harm." The other delegates turned to Zerath, their expressions a mix of skepticism and curiosity. "What are you suggesting, Zerath?" the Tyloth representative asked, her brow furrowed. Zerath took a deep breath, knowing that his next words could either sway the council or further divide them. "I propose that we send a diplomatic mission to the human homeworld. Rather than resorting to aggression, we should seek to understand the humans, to learn from them, and to explore the possibility of cooperation and mutual benefit." The Grolnak representative scoffed, his massive frame shaking with derision. "Cooperation? With these primitives? Zerath, your naivety is astounding. The humans must be eliminated before they can threaten our way of life." A hush fell over the chamber as the debate threatened to descend into outright conflict. Zerath, however, refused to back down, his determination fueled by the conviction that this was the only path forward. "Please, honored representatives, hear me out," he pleaded, his voice calm yet resolute. "We cannot afford to dismiss the humans as mere primitives any longer. They have shown us that they possess capabilities that we have never encountered before. Surely, it is in our best interest to understand them, to learn from them, and to explore the potential for a mutually beneficial alliance. The Tyloth representative regarded Zerath with a thoughtful expression, her gaze sweeping across the tense gathering. Zerath raises a valid point. We have long dismissed the humans, but their demonstration has shown us that they are more than we ever imagined. Perhaps it is time we set aside our preconceptions and approach them with an open mind. A murmur of reluctant agreement rippled through the chamber, and Zerath felt a glimmer of hope. If he could convince the council to pursue a diplomatic solution, it might just be the key to averting a catastrophic conflict with the human race. The fate of the galaxy now hung in the balance. The heated debate within the Galactic Council had reached a critical juncture, with the fate of the entire galactic community hanging in the balance. The representatives were sharply divided, with one faction adamant that the human fleet posed a grave threat that needed to be eliminated, while the other advocated for a more cautious, diplomatic approach. Zerath, the young observer who had been the first to raise concerns about the humans, stood firm in his conviction that open communication and cooperation were the keys to understanding the true nature of this unexpected challenge. "Honored representatives," Zerath said, his voice carrying a sense of urgency, "we cannot afford to respond to this situation with reckless aggression. The humans have shown us that they possess capabilities beyond anything we have encountered before, but that does not necessarily mean they intend us harm." The Grolnak representative, his massive frame bristling with barely contained anger, stepped forward, his deep rumble of a voice echoing through the chamber. "You would have us treat these primitives as equals. Zerath, your naivety is astounding. The humans must be destroyed before they can threaten the stability of the entire galaxy." Zerath held the Grolnak's gaze, his own expression resolute. "I understand your concerns, but we must consider the consequences of such an action. A diplomatic approach may be our best chance at avoiding a catastrophic conflict." The Tyloth representative, known for her pragmatic and measured approach, nodded in agreement. Zerath raises a valid point. "We have long dismissed the humans as insignificant, but their demonstration has shown us that they are more than we ever imagined. Perhaps it is time we set aside our preconceptions and explore the possibility of cooperation." The other delegates murmured, their expressions a mix of reluctance and growing uncertainty. The debate raged on, with the more aggressive factions continuing to push for a military strike, while the proponents of diplomacy worked tirelessly to build a consensus. As the proceedings threatened to descend into outright chaos, a hush fell over the chamber as a new proposal was introduced. The representatives listened intently as the plan was outlined. A diplomatic mission to the human homeworld, with the goal of establishing open communication and exploring the potential for mutual understanding and collaboration. Zerath's eyes widened with a mixture of hope and trepidation. He knew that this was a risky move, one that could have far-reaching consequences, but he was convinced that it was the only way to uncover the truth about the humans and their intentions. The Grolnak representative growled, his massive hands clenching into fists. "Absurd. We cannot trust these humans. They must be destroyed before they can pose a threat to our way of life." The Tyloth representative raised a hand, her expression calm yet resolute. "I understand your concerns, but we must consider the potential benefits of open dialogue. If the humans are indeed as advanced as we now believe, it may be in our best interest to explore the possibility of cooperation and mutual understanding." The debate raged on, with the various factions vying for dominance, each convinced that their approach was the only way to ensure the safety and stability of the galactic community. Zerath watched, his heart pounding, as the council teetered on the edge of collapse. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, a tentative agreement was reached. The representatives, their once dismissive attitudes now tempered by a profound sense of unease, reluctantly approved the diplomatic mission to the human homeworld. Zerath let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding, a glimmer of hope kindling in his chest. This was their chance to uncover the truth about the humans, to learn from them, and perhaps even to forge a lasting alliance that would reshape the very foundations of the galaxy. The future, it seemed, was about to take an unexpected turn. The diplomatic mission, led by a carefully selected team of seasoned negotiators and observers, arrived at the human homeworld, their sense of trepidation palpable. The fate of the entire galactic community hung in the balance as they prepared to make first contact with the mysterious and technologically advanced human race. As the alien envoys stepped onto the surface of Earth, they were met with a surprising lack of hostility. The human leaders, a group of seasoned military officers and diplomats, greeted them with a measured yet cautious welcome. "Greetings, esteemed guests," said the lead human, his expression a mix of curiosity and caution. "We are honored by your visit and look forward to engaging in open dialogue with representatives of the galactic community." The alien envoys, their initial wariness still evident, began to engage the humans in careful negotiations. They were struck by the humans' apparent lack of awareness about the alien observers' previous presence and their casual confidence in the face of the delegation's arrival. "Your people have demonstrated a level of technological prowess that far exceeds our expectations," said the lead alien envoy, her voice laced with a hint of trepidation. "We are here to better understand your intentions and the nature of your capabilities." The human leader nodded, his expression thoughtful. "Ah, yes, our technological advancements. We are indeed a people who have long been dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge and innovation. However, we have not always been eager to share our discoveries with the larger galactic community." The alien envoys exchanged uneasy glances, the implications of the humans' words weighing heavily on their minds. "Then you have been purposefully hiding your true capabilities from us?" the lead envoy asked, her tone growing more urgent. The human leader raised a hand, a faint smile playing on his lips. "Not necessarily hiding, per se. We have simply been content to focus on our own development and progress, without the need to actively engage with the larger galactic powers." Zerath, the young observer who had first raised concerns about the humans, stepped forward, his curiosity burning brighter than ever. "If that is the case, then why have you chosen to reveal your true strength now?" he asked, his voice measured yet intense. The human leader regarded Zerath with a thoughtful expression. "Because we believe the time has come for us to take our rightful place among the galactic community. We have much to learn from you, and we believe that we have much to offer as well." The alien envoys listened intently, their preconceptions about the humans slowly being challenged. As the negotiations progressed, they began to realize that the human race was not the primitive backwater civilization they had once dismissed, but rather a people with a deep-seated sense of purpose and a technological prowess that rivaled, or perhaps even surpassed their own. Finally, the human leader made a surprising proposal. "We would like to formally extend an invitation for the galactic community to establish diplomatic relations with us. We believe that by working together, we can bring about a new era of cooperation and mutual understanding that will benefit us all." The alien envoys were stunned, their initial wariness giving way to a growing sense of cautious optimism. Zerath, in particular, felt a surge of excitement, his conviction that the humans were more than they appeared to be finally vindicated. As the delegation prepared to depart, the human leader approached Zerath, a warm smile on his face. "Young observer, your persistence and open-mindedness have served you well. We look forward to the opportunity to learn from you and your people, and to forge a lasting alliance that will shape the future of the galaxy." Zerath nodded, a sense of both pride and humility swelling within him. The once dismissive attitudes towards the human race had been shattered, replaced by a profound respect and a recognition of the immense potential that lay before them. As the alien envoys returned to their homeworld, they knew that the galaxy would never be the same again. The humans had revealed themselves to be a force to be reckoned with, and the future was about to take an unexpected turn.